Hey guys, it's Daniel here, back with another Christmas review, and with cute little Dolly Wally. Mwah! Cute little Dolly, a little doggy. Actually, come think of it, one of the characters in this movie that I'm reviewing today has a dog, and they like to play a bit of trickery with each other, as the dog likes to copy everything that Cameron Diaz's character is doing in one scene, so, you know, there's a connection there, so... Little doggy was getting very lonely, so she decided to pop up in this review. Cutie. Anyway, what movie have I decided to review today for the next installment in the Christmas review saga? Well, I've chosen the 2006 romantic comedy festive movie that kind of has a bit of similarities to Love Actually, but with only two plots. Not like a million plots like in Love Actually. The Holiday. So The Holiday follows Amanda, played by Cameron Diaz, and Iris, played by Kate Winslet, two women from other sides of the world, from America to Britain, who are kind of getting the Christmas blues and Christmas downers due to their problem with trying to get with some men, but men kind of letting them down, and they get all upset and they're overwhelmed by work and overwhelmed by where they are in life. So one day, they decide to email and text each other to agree to swap houses and swap lives for 2 weeks until after Christmas, in order to get a good break from their lives. So Amanda goes to Britain, while Iris comes to America. And while each of these women are kind of getting adjusted to these lives for 2 weeks, they end up discovering that there might be a bit of romance, with Amanda falling in love with Iris's brother, Graham, played by Jude, and Iris falling in love with a music composer named Miles, played by Jack Black. And all around, these romances happen, and the theme of Christmas in the holiday season begins for these two women. Now, I do remember seeing a clip of this film one time when somebody was watching it on TV, and I find it kind of interesting because it was Jude Law and Cameron Diaz seen together, and it was very interesting, and, you know, it was the most festive time of year at that time, so it's like, oh, this is a Christmas movie. But there are also some other actors. There's Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, Kate Winslet, and Jack Black, good old Jack Black. And this was actually one of the few times where Jack Black kind of played a character that was more down to earth compared to, well, whatever it is that he is right now with, like, Borderlands and Minecraft, him doing, like, a funny voice. Although I'm looking forward to seeing him reprise the role of Bowser in the Mario Galaxy movie. So, I decided that for this Christmas I would watch for the first time The Holiday. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie before. And after watching the movie, all I have to say is... it was nice. It was lovely. It was good. It was delightful from a lot of the times. And, you know, I really enjoyed The Holiday. Is it something groundbreaking? Anything monumental and spectacular? No, not really. Not really. But for what it is, I really enjoyed it. Hands down, the best thing about this film were the performances, particularly from 5 leads, because, well, these 5 leads have the most monumental screen time. So first off, we have the 2 main characters of Amanda and Iris. We have Amanda, played by Cameron Diaz, who is kind of in, like, the popular busy girl formula that doesn't really have time for real romantic interests and is always, like, on her phone and she's always working and all that stuff. She's a bit of a workaholic. So honestly, you could buy that she would desire for just simply sitting down in the country, you know, because she knows that she works a lot of the time, so she needs to, like, feel the down-to-earth, simple life just for a few days to, like, get the feel of, like, oh, this is relaxing. And honestly, I was really impressed by Cameron Diaz's performance here, because in my opinion, I totally bought that she was, like, one of those girls that can have, like, a bit of a strict diva kind of side, but still have that hint of, I'm really more desiring the simple life. Like, I am too busy, maybe people who tell me I'm too busy is right, and, you know, I need to get away from all the men in my life. But along the way, she comes across romance when she meets Iris's brother, Graham, played by Jude Law. A character that, honestly, I really sympathised with, because he's a single dad, having to look after 2 kids, but also trying to approach life in his own way and be approachable. But the trouble is, he has a bit of a nervous side to him, and he is a bit shy, and he is a very emotional character. And in my opinion, I think that just makes him such a great character. And for the most part, I really liked him and Amanda's relationship throughout the film. It definitely was very cute. There are many moments where it got really endearing and it kind of tug at the heartstrings. And then we have the storyline with Iris, played by Kate Winslet, a character that I also thought was really endearing, and she kind of has a bit more like a calm, kind of approachable side than Amanda. And what I mean by that is that she can show emotions very easily, she can be very lovely and kind very easily, she can get overly excited whenever she needs to be, which is something that Amanda does as well too, but Iris does it like in a more genuine and a more exciting way. And just seeing her response for when she first enters Amanda's house and her seeing like the big location, loads of DVDs, the big bedroom, like America, man, like just her response, because she did live in the country, so just seeing a big place like that just blows her mind. You can tell she's like overly excited, and it did kind of come off a bit weird with how overly excited she was, but you know, it was very good. She also has 2 major subplots when she comes to America with 2 people. One is, of course, the man himself, Jack Black, as the character of Miles, and I genuinely enjoyed Jack's performance here, because while it's not like as charismatic as like some of his other roles like School of Rock or Kung Fu Panda, I think it works for this one. It gives him a bit more of a genuine, realistic, but also kind of juicy role, as Jack Black would put it, because he mentioned that in that video when he was interviewed about the Minecraft movie and he ranked all of his movies. It was a big fat juicy role that he doesn't really get to do that much, and honestly I would love to see him do more of a realistic and just believable performance that honestly still has the bit of Jack Black innocence in there, because the director wrote his character to seem like it would be like School of Rock, Jack Black kind of style. But I genuinely enjoyed his performance. I love his passion for film scores, how he talks about how each piece of music serves like an angelic piece to the atmosphere and the story of each film that he composes for, and it's just very endearing. And for the most part, I also thought that him and Iris had great chemistry. I liked the chemistry between Kate Winslet and Jack Black. I thought that they connected very well. For the most part, we'll get to that soon. But Miles isn't the only character that she interacts with in America. She also has a great storyline dealing with her and Arthur, a film director or film star, I can't exactly remember, but he's known very well in the film industry, having a bit of a retirement plan, and he's just going on with his life, and Iris helping him kind of break out of his shell and discover more of how monumental he has been to a lot of people in Hollywood. I really love the chemistry between the actors. It was very endearing. I felt like deeply hurt and sympathetic for Arthur as a character, and I found it very endearing and kind what Iris was doing for him. And Arthur also gives some great advice to Iris about how her life can be and how, you know, she has great lives, and it's just, it was very sweet between these 2 characters. I also have to give mad props to the film's cinematography and score, okay? These stylized choices of scenery and colours just, oh my goodness, it gives you like the warm, fuzzy and a great feeling of Christmas and a festive time of year. It just makes you want to cuddle up and get yourself a nice hot chocolate and just snuggle up and it looks really wholesome. Like, the use of the white snow in the British countryside really reminds me of where I used to live, and because, you know, I moved house, but where I used to live, it was a small village with large countryside, and when I take walks there, one time I took a walk out in the snow, it just reminded me of that. It was very lovely. I love the warm, like, stylized choices, like when they show America, because, you know, it definitely looked like America, and it's mainly when Amanda and Graham are inside Iris's house or his house, and there's a fireplace, and it just, again, it gives you the kind of inside warm feeling of Christmas that is so fuzzy and lovely. And the score as well is fantastically handled, especially during the big dramatic moments that, I will admit, did kind of become a bit overdone and a bit too like big in that kind of case, and I'll talk about it later when I get to the flaws. But it definitely reminded me a lot of Love Actually in those kinds of themes, as well as some really lovely melodramatic Christmas movies as well. And the last thing I will say that I absolutely loved about this movie is that I really loved a lot of the character development between all the characters. I love Amanda kind of coming to grips with getting to settle down with her new kind of area and finding love in a genuine way that really helps to like fit her version of what a great romantic relationship could be. While Iris comes to learn that her abilities isn't just to like, you know, write stories in a newspaper, but feels the need to help others because she finds more like confidence and strength to help Arthur get in the spotlight again, and also help Miles with his own relationship issues. Unbeknownst that those two are kind of getting into a little bit of a thingy themselves. I love the character development between our two leads and the characters around them and just the surroundings and the relationships and atmosphere. It just culminates to a really well done story of these two women going to different spots in the world to both get away from things but also make new memories too. As much as I really enjoyed this movie, I do have a few issues with it that kind of derails its potential for me, and I think is probably something that didn't keep me like totally like into the movie just Remember when I said that this movie can be very, very wholesome and very fuzzy and lovely? I will admit the film does try a little bit too hard in many scenes to come across as corny, sappy, melodramatic, and tear-jerking, and, you know, that kind of fuzzy loveliness of the year, which is definitely shown, but sometimes I feel like they try a bit too hard to the point where I feel like, you know, we need to like make sure we get our audience sympathy and audience emotion, so let's just throw like this loud melodramatic score and have these large melodramatic scenes of characters just over-expressing and, you know, just being like, oh, and all that stuff. I feel like it did kind of come across as a bit too, like, I don't know what the word is, you know? I'm not that great of a film critic because I can't use the right vocabulary, so for now, I think I will say it tries to manipulate to gain audience hearts and pull them out of their chests, as well as like, oh, give us some money, we'll give you a wallet. And I will admit there are times the film does come across a bit too corny and sappy, which I will say a lot of different Christmas movies can as well, but they also use like restraint to show a scene without a score or a scene without a big moment to feel the down-to-earth realism of their situations at Christmas or their many successes at Christmas. This film, every like 5 seconds, there's like a long emotional score that's just da 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 da, you know, that kind of stuff. And I will admit some of the scenes did come across as a bit too like corny or something. And I also will admit that Love Actually kind of did that as well, but I felt like again there was more restraint, and it also added more time for humour to kind of like put itself between the emotionally wholesome moments and the comedy moments as well. I think one of the major reasons as to why I feel like the movie can try a bit too hard to derail its scenes with emotional score and trying too hard to seem like a Christmas classic, because I will say again, the movie does try a bit too hard to come across as a Christmas classic and treasure to amongst audiences. But one of the problems I did have with the film that kind of adds to that is the pacing of the movie. Particularly the first third does kind of drag its scenes on a little bit too much. Like the moments where you see like Amanda getting used to the cottage and used to the village that Iris lives in, those moments do go on and on and on a little bit too much. And I'm just like, okay, I can see what you're going for. Like, can we just, like, cut a few scenes off or something? And we can make more time for chemistry if you cut a few more scenes from the first third out, so that we can have more time to build chemistry between our romantic leads. Because Amanda's first encounter with Graham and the first, like, true, like, ooh, there's a little bit of a spark between them, did come off a bit forced. And also, like, I guess it's kind of hard to take it. Like, we don't know if it's supposed to be, oh, it's nice, or kind of awkward or something. Like, it's just weird, and I feel like that the film could have used a bit more time in the opening to, like, show the beginning of their spark in a bit more of a stretched out manner. You see what I mean? Like, there are a few moments in the beginning where they drag on a bit, and then there are moments where I feel like they could have used more time. I think it's just like, it's having, like, the right amount that makes every scene kind of have, like, the same amount of time and impact as each other. Although despite the kind of rushed opening of their relationship, at least that one has more attention than the romantic spark between Iris and Miles. Because while I did find their moments together to be very endearing, and you could definitely see some chemistry between them, surprisingly, I was, like, very shocked to find out that that wasn't, like, a major storyline in the film, because I was expecting it to have, like, the whole story of Iris' side of the film. And yes, you do see Miles in a lot of scenes, but his screen time makes up roughly 15, 20, 30 minutes? I mean, yeah, he does stuff, but I was surprised that there wasn't as much Jack Black in the film as I was expecting. In my opinion, I felt like on Iris' side of the tale, she mainly has attention focusing on... She mainly has some screen time being focused on her helping Arthur and her bond with Arthur. And even though I do think that that was a fantastic storyline, it kind of takes over the chemistry between her and Miles. And in my opinion, I feel like they either should have been equal or they should have picked one or the other. In fact, come to think of it, in my opinion, I would find if they picked either one, they could have either picked the Miles storyline to be its central focus, or they could have picked the Arthur one to be its central focus. Honestly, I mean, I'm glad they went with both. It's just that I feel like Miles' story kind of went a little bit under the radar. A little bit. And I was shocked because I thought there was going to be more Jack Black in the movie. But, you know, their story's still fantastic, so I guess I'll let it slide. Truth be told, much like some other movies, I can't say I have any major strong things I don't like about this movie. You know, these moments are awful or something. No, I just thought the movie was pretty good. It wasn't great. It wasn't the most, like, greatest Christmas movie ever made. I don't think it's on some same level as, like, say, Arthur Christmas, Love Actually, Elf, all that stuff, or Klaus, but I'm glad I saw it. I really enjoyed it. Despite the fact that the movie can get a little bit too over-dramatic at times, and it seemed desperate to become a Christmas classic to people, which I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was a Christmas classic to a lot of people, but is there anybody out there that have only just seen the movie and think it's okay, that are knowing what I'm talking about when I say it tries a little bit too hard to be overly dramatic, melodramatic, sappy and all that stuff in some scenes, because they have drawn out scenes of characters just having, like, these emotional moments and it tries a bit too hard? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Because I'm struggling to put it into words for a review, so I guess you're just gonna have to go see the movie and find out. But I'm glad I saw it. I'm not being like, oh, now that I've seen it, it's okay, but I'm not gonna watch it again. No, I'm glad I saw it, and I'm glad that, you know, it's in my memory now, and I wouldn't mind watching it again. In fact, I actually watched the movie twice in preparation for this review in order to, like, check if my feelings for the film are adequate, and they are. And honestly, despite its problems, I still really enjoyed it, and I wouldn't mind watching it again, maybe every year for Christmas. It's definitely a wholesome movie. I mentioned a few times in this review that this movie did kind of remind me a lot of Love Actually. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the filmmakers and writers had some inspiration from Love Actually. I guess one thing it does have over Love Actually is that it only has 2 stories. Love Actually, there's like 10. That was like, wow, that's a lot of love stories. But come think of it, I still loved Love Actually more than The Holiday. But I really enjoyed The Holiday. I hope you guys watch it. I do hope you guys have fun with it. And I'm going to give the movie a 3.5 out of 5. It's definitely a very enjoyable movie. And if you haven't seen it and you want to get in the Christmas spirit and have a romantic time with your loved ones, especially with your partner, This is definitely one of the Christmas movies I'd recommend watching. But anyway guys, what do you think of The Holiday? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And what is your favourite Christmas romance film? Let me know in the comment section below. More videos to come, and soon guys, I'm going to be doing my Christmas Day special video. What is it? Well, you're gonna have to wait to find out. Till then, peace out man.